Okay, so in this video I'm showing you the basic ins and outs of what happens in an average property shoot. And this is kind of more for myself in the future in case I suddenly get amnesia and think, what do I do as a job? So this is to remind myself everything that I do. So whenever I get to the house, this is one where I'm going to be doing the photos, the videos and the floor plan. Take my tripod with my glide track, which I would say is an absolute must if you're doing this. If you're doing videos of houses. So here is not a particularly special house or anything like that, but it was quite funny because at the same time as doing this, it looked like a Bentley had crashed into a car just outside, so there's nice interesting entertainment going on. So one of the things I'd say about doing property stuff is you've got to have the trust of the company which you're doing it for, because they're effectively giving you keys to somebody's house. There may be tenants in, there may be a landlord in and all that kind of stuff, so they want to know that you're a kind of trustworthy person. So that'd be probably the biggest thing why I say that a lot of these times it's a case of knowing somebody in the company before you start doing property stuff. So once I go in, I go around the whole house and turn on all the lights. This one didn't have its bed made, and it didn't have any pictures on the wall, which is a bit of a bummer. But it's a case of going around and hunting for all the lights, putting down the toilet seats, all that stuff. Here's trying to find the lights in the kitchen. There's lights underneath that unit there, but I couldn't find the light switch that would turn it on, so that was a bit of a hunt around there. And then it's just checking to see that the house is kind of, which would be the best angles and the views as well, so checking out the balcony. So once I've turned on all the lights, it gives them a little time to kind of warm up, get the camera on, and I get the flash on top. I also take in a second flash, so here I'm putting it in the bathroom, and I'm shooting in the bedroom. So as I get down here, I take my first shot and then I suddenly realise that the curtain is in the way, so I need to kind of organise that. So sometimes you don't see things straight away, that's why taking a photo, checking out the back of your camera, and then you suddenly realise, wait a minute, there's something which I didn't see. So there's the first photo, and the amount of brightness coming from the bathroom didn't count there at all, but here, shooting back into the bathroom, there I've used a flash in the bathroom to brighten that up as well. I've only got it at a 64th of a power, so a tiny amount of power, but that just helps make sure that the shadows aren't too dark in the rooms which you aren't directly shooting. So for each room I try and get it from a couple of angles. This angle wasn't a huge fan of. Again, it would have been nicer if there were pictures on the wall, but unfortunately not. And there I was thinking, should I shoot that room with the door open or closed? If the door open there, I wouldn't be able to see anywhere anyway, so I decided to close that. So for this one, for the kitchen again, second flash just behind the wall there, just giving a little bit of illumination to the right, because as you can see at the top, one of the lights isn't working. You'll see the editing of this in my next video, so you can see the kind of, there has been some cases where you see the flash, and I've done my editing to try and get rid of that. So then going into the living room, checking it from both angles. I'm shooting it where I'm showing the kind of the view of the doors open, so it helps when people are looking at the floor plan, they can connect the rooms with the areas in the floor plans as well. So once I go around there, I had to re-change the power of the flash there, because you can see it is creating a little bit of reflection going on there, but that's it fairly calmed down. And then when I was going outside to get the view shot, I got the Koken neutral density graduated filters, and I literally just placed them over the lens, instead of, like, people will say, oh, you could use a tripod and all that kind of stuff, but that would just take so much more faffing around. Considering that everything I'm doing here is taking, well, this whole shoot was about an hour and 10 minutes to get it all done. And then also get in the bathroom as well. So I'll shoot every room that's in the property, as long as it's not like a disaster room, but any like cupboards and stuff, you don't bother utility rooms, you don't bother shooting that. So after I've done that, I then go and do the video. So this usually means about 20 minutes in, all the lights are as bright and as warm as they're going to be. So that's when I can do the video, because you're not using flash or any kind of lighting or additional lighting whenever you're doing the video. With this, using the glide track system, I'm using the hybrid one where it's the roller bindings on it. I'll put a link to the one which I use down below, and that's been an absolute godsend, really good. And you notice I've got my little rubber band, which I use for, there you can see it, which I use for getting kind of smoother shots. So even though I've got this thing which gives me smooth action, there's still vibration coming out of my hand that I'm creating. So a rubber band can help in certain shots as well. So with this again, I'm pretty efficient at it now. I usually just go from one room to another, and I know which angle it's going to be, because at some places you just can't squeeze it into the corner to get the other angle of the room. Also, whenever doing video, you really do have to get the white balance spot on. It's not like in a photo where you can happily control the white balance afterwards if you've shot in RAW. So here, you'll notice I've got the little histogram on the actual video, and that's so I can really check that the reds and the blues are not too distant from each other. Of course, unless the room had a lot of orange in it, naturally. But whenever this room or this property is pretty white, or just slightly off-white, so I want it so that the orange is just a little bit further than the blue, but not like miles and miles. So getting shots of the inside here, checking should I get the shot with the door open. So I closed it because you can't see down the hallway with the door open there, and it creates a nicer view. What I'll do is I'll put the video to this, I'll put the link to the video of this down below. So again, having to move the TV, I don't really like moving stuff in a property, just in case. You never know, somebody may have put a TV on top of a very wonky little table, and you just, you can't control it in case it falls over. So be very careful if you are moving any stuff within a property like that. So with the external shot here, I am putting all this stuff on for the graduated filter, so that I don't have to be holding that at the front of the lens while I'm trying to move the camera at the same time, because I'm having to put a lot of concentration into making sure that I'm smooth and I'm not shaking in any way while I'm doing the video shot, especially when it's a forward and I'm doing a tilt at the same time. There's a few kind of movements happening there. And then there I ended up putting 2 Koken neutral density graduated filters into really darken out the sky, because I wanted to get as much detail in the kind of lower, kind of grassy, nice areas down there. But other than that, it's then a case of tidying up. I also, just after this, you'll see I'm doing the photos as well for the property. And so I've put away the flashes, I'm not using them anymore, and I am just going around checking that I haven't left anything. That's the other thing, is there's so many things that you could potentially be leaving. One other shot, this is a shot which I forgot to do, is I do a door opening shot. So in pretty much all the videos I've got, as long as the door isn't like battered or got graffiti on it, I'll do a door opening shot here. So I'm trying to make the hallway as bright as possible, opening as many doors as I can, and then going in and checking. Again, this is where the white balance is really difficult, because sometimes the lighting in the hall is different, or lighting in the stairwell, as it were, is vastly different from the lighting inside the property. So you've got to really be careful with the white balance that you do there. So I effectively just hide behind the door and open it. Check it, that there's no kind of funniness or shadows or anything like that, and then that's me finished doing all the video for the inside of the property. However, I've still got the external part of the property to do as well, so I've still got photos and externals there. So here, I'm just doing the floor plan. I'm not really bothering to kind of go into this one. You go around, you take measurements of each room. I've got a little laser measurer which I use, and I just record it on my iPod. So I'm recording myself as I go around, and I'm just saying, okay, this room is this length and that length, and then whenever I get back to the computer, which you'll see in my next video, that's where I start editing the floor plan afterwards. So after I've shot the inside, I then head out and I get a couple of photos and video of the external. And again, even though with the movement here, you're so far away that moving your camera a whole meter from left to right isn't going to make much difference, it doesn't matter. It's just that natural movement is so much better than a static photo in so many cases. So once outside, I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, right, I'll take a photo without the ND grad filter, then I'm thinking, yeah, I need the grad filter. So I just use a little kind of side bag here, a hip bag, and I've got my filter kit attached to the strap there, and the laser measurer on there as well. And that's the thing about that, it's just all about ease and quick access. So that was the external photo that I took, and then I'm doing a little video here. I put the little, a spirit level on top of that to make sure it's not kind of going wonky halfway through the video or something like that, in case like one of the legs moves or if it sinks into the grass or anything like that. Try and get a couple of shots just in case whenever I finish, somebody say, oh, did you get it from this angle or did you get it from this angle? I like to kind of cover my back with as many angles as possible. However, I don't use every single one. That's the main bit of information there. So there you go. That's pretty much how I shoot photo, video and floor plan the inside of a property. I hope if you're interested, I hope that helps. Cheers. Bye-bye.